Once upon a time, a farmer was walking through the hills when he discovered an abandoned eagle's nest. Inside it lay a single egg, still warm. There was no sign of the mother eagle. No siblings, nothing. Fearing the egg would not survive on its own, the farmer gently took it back to his farm. Unsure of what else to do, he placed the eagle's egg into the nest of one of his hens. 2 weeks later, the egg hatched. Out came a baby eagle. But the hen did not know this. She cared for it as if it were her own chick. And so the eagle grew up among chickens. It learned to peck at the ground for grain. It ran into the chicken house when it rained. It flapped its wings only to hop a few inches off the ground just like the others. The eagle lived its entire life inside the farmyard. It rarely looked up, because none of the chickens ever looked up. Days turned into years. The eagle grew old. Its life was long and uncomfortable and small. Then one day, near the end of its life, the old eagle lifted its head. High above the farmyard, it saw a magnificent sight. An eagle soaring freely across the open sky. The old bird watched in silence. Then it sighed and whispered to itself, "If only I had been born an eagle." But the truth is, it was born an eagle. In this life, you can only explore your full potential when you discover who you truly are. Not minding the surroundings you were born into. Not minding how you were raised. Not minding the limits placed around you. You only have one life, and the greatest tragedy is living it as a chicken when you were always meant to soar as an eagle. Once upon a time there lived a wise sage, known across the land for solving the hardest problems. One day, 2 young men came to him for advice. Both were polite. Both were humble, and each insisted the other should speak first. After some discussion, they realized something surprising. Their problems were the same. They spoke together and said, "Master, we are low-level workers. We are treated badly. We are pushed around. We receive no respect. Tell us, should we quit our jobs?" The sage closed his eyes. He sat in silence for a long time. The 2 men waited. Finally, he opened his eyes and spoke just 5 words, only a bowl of rice. Nothing more. The men thanked him and left, confused but thoughtful. As they walked back toward the city, one asked, "What do you think he meant?" The other replied, "The bowl of rice is our daily food. Our job is nothing more than a way to survive." The first nodded. "Yes, that's all we get from it. Just our meals." But from that same understanding, they made very different choices. One man returned to work the next day. The other resigned immediately. The man who quit went back to the countryside and became a farmer. He used what he learned in the city to improve his crops, import better seeds, and refine his methods. Years passed. His produce became the finest in the region. He gained wealth and respect. The man who stayed at work also changed. Once he realized the job was only a bowl of rice, he stopped taking the challenges personally. He faced challenges calmly. He took on difficult tasks. He grew stronger. Promotion after promotion followed. Eventually, he became a manager. Years later, the 2 men met again by chance. Both were successful. Both were happy. But both were confused. "How strange," one said. "We heard the same advice, yet walked different paths." They returned to the sage and asked, "Master, which path was the correct one?" The sage closed his eyes once more. After a long pause, he said, "Only a difference of thought." Then he explained, "In life, each person has their own path. Your state of mind is like a stream flowing downhill. No matter the path you take, you will reach your place of happiness. So go your way and reach happiness. Once upon a time, in a quiet village, a poor farmer knocked on the door of the village gatekeeper. When the gate opened, the farmer placed in his hands a magnificent bunch of grapes. "These are the finest my vineyard has ever produced," he said. "I brought them as a gift." The gatekeeper was startled. He felt undeserving of such beauty. But the farmer insisted, "When drought destroyed my crops, you shared your bread and wine with me every day. May these grapes carry the warmth of the sun, the beauty of the rain, and the miracle of life back to you." The gatekeeper admired the grapes all morning. They were truly rare. Then he thought of the village elder, the one who guided him with patience and wisdom. "He will know how to value this gift," he said. The village elder was pleased, but as he held the grapes, he remembered a sick neighbor lying alone in his home. "These may bring him joy," the elder thought, "and joy can heal more than medicine." So he carried the grapes to the sick man. The sick man smiled, but soon thought of the cook who had cared for him daily, preparing warm meals without asking for thanks. "She deserves them more than I do," he said. When the cook arrived with lunch, he placed the grapes in her hands. The cook marveled at their perfection and thought no one would appreciate this more than the village teacher, who shapes young minds every day. So she carried the grapes to the teacher. The teacher admired them deeply, then thought of the youngest apprentice in the village. "Let him learn," the teacher said, "that beauty and effort live in small things." The apprentice held the grapes in wonder. Then he remembered the first day he arrived in the village, frightened and unsure, and the person who welcomed him. As evening fell, the apprentice returned to the gate. He placed the grapes in the gatekeeper's hands and said, "You spend your days here alone. These will bring you happiness." And so the gift returned to the hands where kindness first began. What you give out comes back to you. Every good deed returns in its own time. Follow for more stories like this.